political analyst, Mr. Thobani Zikalala. So, Thobani, it's good to have you with us. You've just heard the breaking news there. Cyril Ramaphosa to be fielded questions and given those questions so that he can actually respond to them in writing. What do you make of these developments?
Good afternoon, Machali. I think, of course, it's breaking news, but I think for me, I'm almost caught in between. I mean, one, of course, we want to hear from the president in terms of what he knew in relation to the allegations made by Lieutenant General Klatam Kwanas. But one thing also is, what value are we going to get? I mean, evidential value, probative value, are we going to get from the president? Because, again, I don't understand this special treatment. I mean, I think I agree with what your reporter was saying, especially with what some of the members were saying. I don't understand this special treatment. If Ramaphosa, or President Ramaphosa, is going to be a witness or a person of interest to be interviewed for the purpose of the investigation being done by Parliament, why does he not appear like everyone has been appearing in front of the power of the committee to account to Parliament? This idea that he must respond like he's responding to questions to a general parliamentary sitting, for me is problematic. I think this is an ad hoc committee for a reason. It's investigating particular issues and must be treated in that way, which means I would have believed that the president should have appeared in front of this parliament so that he can be probed further. Because also, if you say the president must write, then when do you get a chance to probe some of the things that we could have said? But also, how do you make sure that you meet the timelines that you have set for yourself so that we are able to put this matter to rest, at least at the parliamentary level? So for me, it is welcome news because the president must account. I mean, he's got oversight powers over the workings of his ministers. He is the commander-in-chief who should have been consulted and should have known what is happening in the police, I would like to believe. And he must be able to tell us some things because the relationships that have been spoken about and the issues that have been raised, the president ought to have known some of them. I mean, some people have claimed, I mean, the minister, if I'm not mistaken, the suspended minister claimed that the president was briefed or the president was consulted. The president must bring the parliament into confidence on whether or not he was briefed on the impending suspension or disbandment of the PKTT. But again, as I said, for me, it's a matter of probative value. It's a matter of whether or not we would be able, the parliament would be able to probe further. And I think written submissions or written questions do not serve that purpose for me.
And this is the head of the House, as you put it there, of course, Thobani. But let's talk about the wider or the broader potential impact should, of course, President Ramaphosa be allowed to just respond in writing and not physically appear before Parliament. We currently have a conundrum where we have Paul O'Sullivan citing same things. He wants to appear before the parliamentary committee on his own terms. We also have now Mr. Brown Mahotsi also raising some new issues as to why he can't appear before Parliament. So if you look at the deadline, that is the 6th of February, we've got all these outstanding issues, and then you center the president right in the middle of that. How do we get around this as a country, and Parliament in particular?
I think we are already in the mix of things. We're already in a problem. It's for us. The faster we get clarity in terms of the issues that are being investigated, the better it is for the country. If the president can provide clarity, he must be brought there. But there's the issue of Paul O'Sullivan that you've mentioned and other witnesses in terms of how they've been treated. I mean, whether one likes Paul O'Sullivan or doesn't like him, for me, it's at this point, it doesn't matter. It's a matter of I'm saying you have been insisting as the committee that Paul O'Sullivan must come before you. He can't dictate to you what needs to be done. But you are the very same parliamentary committee that then chooses to treat a particular witness or a particular person of interest in a special way. I mean, if everyone has been appearing physically in person, then everyone must do so because then we'll be able to, I mean, for me, it's the issue of whether Parliament is able to probe further, is able to ask the questions. I mean, if you've seen the performance of many or some of these members of Parliament, the question is, if they agree to not do this with the president, what message are they sending? That all this treatment that they've made, that some of the witnesses who have came before them and thought is only reserved for those people, and the president must not face such. The president must not answer when he's the head of everything. He's the person who's supposed to know, who's got the executive authority of this country, and he must not come before you. But another thing is that this country almost seems I mean, we are now used to this idea. Of course, we had a former president at the head, at the center of a commission of inquiry. So it's not a problem for a president to come and account for me. If the president must account or the president must shed light on issues, he must come and do so. I don't think there's a big problem that we may face because of that.
Thobani Zikalala, thank you so much for that analysis there. He's weighing in on those breaking news that we understand. Of course, the ad hoc committee in Parliament has just decided that President Cyril Ramaphosa will not appear before it physically, but instead will respond in writing.